Hi, I'm Alex Beckstedt.
And I'm Jillian Eberline.
Thanks for joining us on the 10-Minute Tack-Up, brought to you by My New Horse. We're going to sit down for a quick, honest chat about all things horse ownership. Welcome to this episode of the 10-Minute Tack-Up. So Jillian and I were talking about horse stuff the other day and realized that, we all have that one thing or 10 things that we can't live without that's always in our grooming kit or tack room, wherever. So we figured we'd talk about some of our favorite pieces of tack, equipment, supplies, and share some of other horse owners' favorite pieces of equipment as well, and go from there. So, Jillian, what can't you live without?
I cannot live without a mounting block.
Yeah.
I don't think I could actually get on a horse from the ground, even a smaller one.
Well, you've got a big horse.
I have a big horse. I think he's going to be around 17 hands, and I know he would never stand still long enough for me to do that. So me and the mounting block, best friends, because
completely understandable. Yes.
Mm-hmm. My next thing is a saddle, because right now with his growing, and he's not an ugly duckling, but that kind of in between phase where he hasn't filled out yet, he's starting to get muscle. If I were to ride him bareback, that would be painful for him and I just think I would go sliding off. And once again, I would need my mounting block to get
your
on.
mounting block.
So they kind of go hand in hand.
That is very practical. I like that.
That's where my brain went. I was like, okay, what are two things I need from my horse specifically? And if my trainers see this, there's other things, but those are my two biggest ones.
Excellent. Well, if you've listened to some of our previous episodes, you will know that I'm a huge fan of bell boots. Can't live without my rubber pull-on bell boots, and then a backup pair of rubber pull-on bell boots, because my horse wears front shoes and will just pry them off with his hind feet in the pasture. So bell boots, must have. Another thing that is literally, I take it everywhere, it's always in my grooming kit, is Listerine. I use Listerine for everything. I was thinking about this. I was like, oh my God, that is my go-to thing. I put it on. It's because it's an antifungal and antiseptic. You can use it for rain rot, scratches, dandruff in your horse's mane and tail. You spritz it on. I think thrush. So anytime I see any sort of funk or dander or whatever on my horse, Listerine, spray. I dilute it a little bit with water, toss it in a spray bottle, and it lives in my grooming tote. So
I'm going to steal that and put that in my tack trunk, because I was like, I need stuff, as we're talking about essentials. I'm like, what are things that I need in my tack trunk? And that never crossed my mind. I didn't even know that Listerine, you could use it like that.
Yeah.
So
a big bottle of just the classic, the yellow colored Listerine. It's $3.99 at the grocery store, and it works better than any of the expensive scratches treatments that I've tried. And if I see a little bit starting to form, I just spray it on my horse's legs, and the next day it's great. So don't spray it on open wounds. Be smart about it.
Okay. I guess it makes sense. Never thought of it, but I'm definitely adding that to my list for my
Try it. You have to try it and then tell me how it goes.
I will. Okay, what else? What else do we got?
So I have a list of things that other horse owners have said they can't live without. So let's see if any of these surprise you. We've got a tiger's tongue sponge.
I forgot about that.
I haven't used one of those in ages, but this horse owner uses it daily as a finishing brush to get dirt off and to help her horse's coat be shiny, to get mud off legs, give baths, wash buckets and tack and stuff like that. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah. Adding to that, sorry to add back to my list. I would say a loofah, because
there's no end to the list.
I use a loofah to clean my horse.
Really?
Every time I give him a bath, oh yeah, I love it. The first time I brought it to the barn, everyone was like, what are you doing with that? And I'm like, just try giving your horse a bath with a loofah. I
Does he
personally
like it?
Loves it. And they were like, because they're showing and stuff, and they were like, we've actually bought more, and we use that now to bathe, because you can get them at the dollar store, dirt cheap, and yeah, they fall apart, but it's not like you're spending all this money. And I don't really love rubber brushes when I'm giving baths. You know what I'm talking about? That's just a personal thing. But yeah, I use a loofah all the time, and that's definitely in my tack trunk.
Well, now I know what I need to add to mine.
What else?
We've got Cowboy Magic for stain removal, whether you've got a gray horse or a horse with white markings. I know I've gone through many a Cowboy Magic bottle
Probably should
solid.
have invested in some stock in that with how much we've used in our lifetime.
Several horse owners said rope halters, English and Western disciplines, they like it. It just gives them a little better control on the ground when handling their horse.
Interesting. Okay.
Got that. One person said her trail stirrups. She rides long distances, and so her knees and legs would get really sore with traditional like iron stirrups.
Mhm.
So she got these trail stirrups, which I looked them up. They look super cool. They look kind of like outer space like, but they must work.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
I don't think I could walk into the hunter ring wearing trail stirrups, but they look like they work.
I think you'd be excused immediately.
Another trail rider always carries her outdoor GPS on her. She says
Okay.
it keeps her
Yeah.
from getting lost on extended trail rides, and then she can analyze her rides on the computer later, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You can like totally nerd out about your trail riding stats.
That would be me. Mhm.
Another grooming must have from a horse owner was her Oster brush, Oster. Have you seen those? I had to look those up as well, but I've seen them around the barn. Other horse owners have it. You can get it. You can get it for like $9 or $10, probably online. It's not cheap, but it's. I guess it works really well. Everybody has that one like grooming tool that they love.
For sure.
Yeah, cheap hoof picks. Duh, they always go missing. So just have a bunch of cheap hoof picks.
Seam rippers. I always stockpile those in my tack trunk.
Do
I feel
you
like
do you use them for anything other than taking
mane and
braids out?
tails. No,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I just like to have it in case, like, I need to get a bale of hay open up real quick or, like,
Yeah.
just when we're hanging up buckets at the horse show, if we don't have a double-sided clip, while we have time to go get one, sometimes we use baling twine, so I just like having it to cut little nuanced things, but I feel like every time someone asks to borrow it, it goes missing, and you never see it again. So I went on Amazon and bought a big pack of them, and I was like, "You're staying in the bottom of my tack trunk where no one knows that you're there."
Yeah,
They
those
might
little
know now.
things can go missing quick.
Uh-huh.
That reminds me that there were a lot of different opinions on different clips that people swear by their different like
Mhm.
quick release snaps and all sorts of clips and snaps, which obviously are essential for hanging all the stuff that we hang around the barn, but lots of strong opinions about which one's the best.
I could see that.
I just like at least for grooming stalls,
Mhm.
the breakaway ones,
Yes,
the quick
100%.
release ones. Yeah, those are my favorite.
Before we go to the next one, speaking of grooming, another thing to add to the list. I have like a roll-on fly spray for Shiloh's
Ooh.
face because he doesn't like being sprayed with anything, even water or like really. So I think it was Farnham had like this little roll-on that I just put on like over his eyes, around his nose, and on his head and around his ears. Loves it. And I love it too. I'm like, this. I remember the first time I took it out of my tack trunk, my trainer's like, what is that? And I was like, roll-on fly spray. And they're like, huh? And they were like, we need that. And I was like, I like it for the horses that obviously don't like flies. I mean, who does?
Yeah.
But if you have one that's a little more sensitive to like their face, like they're a little more head shy, I found it works. And it doesn't really get, like I said, it doesn't get in their eyes. It doesn't really streak down their face. I love it.
Nice. I've never tried that before. I knew it existed, but I've never tried it before. Does it smell good or does it have any sort of like scent?
Not really, no.
Yeah. I have to remember that. So moving back into the tack side, we had somebody who went from using, you know how like I guess like traditional girths have elastic only on one side. And so she tried a girth and they have cinches like this too that has elastic on both sides, which I've used. And she's like, I'll never go back because then she can like just slowly tighten her horse's girth. It's very symmetrical. She thinks he's more comfortable in it. So
Yeah,
I definitely like those too.
I agree.
They're easier to put on too.
Yeah, for sure. Like I understand the principle behind only having elastic on one side, but I like a double elastic better too.
I do too.
Because I don't feel like I'm getting the girth as tight on for like, when I'm trying to get it on, there's a little bit more give, and then, like she's
Right.
saying, you can slowly make it tighter.
Yeah. And on the topic of girths and cinches, another horse owner must have a cinch with the double roller on it. You know what I'm talking about? The buckles. It just makes it so much easier to put on.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't think I guess I've seen them, but I don't think that's something I've ever paid attention to.
You probably haven't paid attention to it. I think most of like the English girths that I use they all have the roller buckles or the
Yeah.
double roller thing on it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought about what if it didn't.
Definitely not.
And I got one more on my list, correction half pad, the kind that has the little pockets that you put shims into so that if you have multiple horses that you're riding with different back shapes, you can adjust the half pad to fit the horse.
Mhm.
Not a substitute for a correctly fitting saddle, but in a pinch, it can help prevent some sore backs if you're riding multiple horses or riding a horse for somebody else or something like that. So
I'm gonna look those up. I'm gonna look that up after because I'm like, how much does that cost?
yeah, I don't think they're cheap, but I had one because I had a horse that was tough to fit and her back was changing because she was growing and it worked. Yeah. So, well, if anybody has something that they want to share with us that they can't live without, put it in the comments on YouTube or email us at mynewhorse@equinenetwork.com and we will chat with you next time.